And welcome back, and in this part we'll be finishing off the Tower of Eleh. So, like I said before, Joseph is found on the very deepest part of the tower here. I wonder what you would call a tower if it has levels that go deeper and deeper underground. Although I guess that wouldn't really be a tower, just a series of basements. Now, if you have the lockpick ability, you can unopen a few doors here. But I did this on a practice run, and I didn't really find anything special. But luckily enough, in this cell here is our main man Joseph himself. So let's reunite with our compadre. Now, you would think Joseph would be a little more pissed at Felice, and I guess he is. But again, this could be seen as another example of there should have been a cutscene for this, where Joseph, like, goes batshit insane at Felice. Felice, you betrayed me. You pulled a Lando Calrissian on me. But since Joseph doesn't really have a choice, he just figures, what the hell, I'll go with it anyway. Now, in terms of the inventory you had before, you still have it. Joseph actually still has all the items he had before, which is kind of odd. They've just put him in this cell with his sword and his armor. But anyway, Joseph is getting up to speed here. And yes, he's now aware that the team has disbanded. But don't worry, I guess you could call this a spoiler, but we do reunite the Fantastic Four. Right now it's Joseph and Felice, but for example, we will run into Rosaline in a short while. And I just wanted to show off that Joseph can cast magic still, but he cannot summon. But that's alright, heal is good enough for now. Just going through his items, and yes, they've equipped the short sword for some reason. And I just wanted to show off that that side quest in the city was worth doing, because the Longaros's longsword, try saying that fast, but his one sword is a powerful weapon, and it's also one-handed. So I've got to give the game creators credit here. You know, they thought this sort of scenario out. But fortunately, the first time I played the game, I didn't know that he would only be one-handed. So a lot of my two-handed weapons I bought were useless. And that's also why I recommended buying lots of a variety of weapons before you left Linnell City. Just for this situation. Now, there's an item I wanted to pick up in the dungeon here. Of course, it's best to go with Joseph and Felice. Now, even though you have Joseph, don't get too cocky, because he's still not powerful just yet. You can still be overwhelmed quite easily. But luckily, firing fireballs makes him very useful. And in a short while, these enemies you see here, the samurais and soldiers, they're not too powerful, they're weaker versions. And I just wanted to point out, quite soon you'll be dealing with the real deal.
It's locked. Success.
Well done, Felice. And again, to talk about the story again here, this is the reason why Felice is probably one of the most interesting characters in this game. She's sort of good and bad, and you'll see she has a quite interesting backstory as well. Hell, out of all these people, I think she's the only one where I know her parents, and I know exactly how she grew up. I mean, with Joseph and Felice, you do get that backstory as well, and with Rosalind, but Felice seems a bit slightly more detailed than the other party members. Now, to make our way out of the tower, you might think we could just walk along, walk out the front door, but no, you're best going to the top section and then working your way down the scaffolding. If you try and leave from the front entrance, a door comes out and an enemy tries to stop you. A fairly weak enemy, but yeah, I didn't really think it was worth the time. I just thought I'll make my way out of this place. And of course, even though you now have Joseph the Brawler, it's still, I would still advise you to take advantage of Felice, the Queen of Backstabs. And speaking of which, I do like the idea of this level in general, this giant siege tower. Well, I was saying that we never really see it completed, but then again, it's supposed to reach towards heaven, so it never will be completed. And not to give like a spoiler about the whole Summoner universe, but the idea of this tower reaching heaven was impossible anyway. It just couldn't have worked. Because their Earth, it's structured like ours in a sense. Like, if they do have an afterlife in this universe, it's not just above them. The city of the gods aren't floating above their heads. I mean, there is some impossible stuff in this universe, but yeah, it's not. It's not like the classical sense of heaven above us. I'm afraid above us is only sky. Now, speaking of which, of this sort of scaffolding sequence, if you really wanted to, you could have did it the opposite way. You could have, when you entered the tower, work your way up the scaffolding with Felice. It would have been more difficult, but it's still possible to do. But you can see here, it's better to do it this way. Now, this area coming up, this secret door, I missed this the first time I played because it's so obscure. And actually, this section, it does appear on the map, but it appears as the 4th floor, when really it's between 2 and 3. But anyway, this area is why we needed to get the slave pit key in the previous part, because otherwise you ain't opening this door. Oh, and by the way, I like how a small key operates a drawbridge. But anyway, this guy gives us the side quest, and it's completed instantly. That must be some kind of world record for this game. But anyway, go into the pit, and we're given an update to a side quest, and we are actually given a new side quest here, the Dragon Scales of the Emperor. Now, this is similar to the Shards of the Gearmardi side quest, where in that one you had to find and collect 3 shards of different coloured glass. In this case, it's 4 dragon scales: green, red, blue, and grey. And these are hidden all across Arania. And some of them are quite obscure. You really have to look out for them. But fortunately, I managed to complete this side quest. And if you took this guy here, who is also in the slave pit, we are given an update to the Durgan's Lucky Charm side quest. And just a word of warning, once you leave the Tower of Eleh, you can never come back. You can't re-enter the level. So if you're determined about completing these side quests, yep, you need to do it the first time round. Oh, and she gives us one of the green dragon scales here. And as you can see, they're treated like jewellery. You sort of equip them and they can level up your stats. Oh, and while I'm here, I'll give Joseph 2 rings of health. I like the rings of health. The best item I find, or one of the better ones. Now, talking to this guy, he reveals there is one other person we need to talk to find the lucky quest. The lucky quest, the lucky charm. But fortunately, we are close to the end of this side quest. We've talked to nearly all the people we need to. And yeah, I'm sure that one's pretty notorious to anyone who's played the game. Because it is quite a long, drawn-out quest. It takes you across the world. It spans almost the entire game. And it was all for one earring. But anyway, I'm sure the developers of the game found that quite amusing. Now, what is helpful is that whenever Felice uses Sneak, she automatically goes into solo mode, so the other party members don't blow your cover. And what I do like as well is that she goes out of solo mode when she uses Backstab, so the whole team gets an experience boost. That was very that was very clever of the developers. I just wanted to point at this part of the level where you see a giant statue of Murad. Ugh, typical Emperor. Quite egotistical. And we'll also find out later that he's involved in a lot of dark stuff, the Emperor. Yeah, he's pretty much this universe's equivalent of a devil worshipper. Or an occultist. Yeah, he likes to dabble with some pretty dark forces. I'll tell you what, this sneak ability is coming in very useful. But unfortunately, they do see you sometimes. Honestly, I'm not really a fan of stealth in games in general, but this was okay. It's pretty simple. It's not like Hitman. And whenever Felice uses her sneak ability, I am reminded of the invisibility cloak from Harry Potter. You know, she puts it up over her head and she sort of goes semi-transparent. But anyway, we're nearly done with this dungeon here. We've reached the bottom of the scaffolding. Granted, this section here, it's been a bit repetitive. It's just sneak, backstab, sneak, backstab. But there you go.
Locked. Success.
Ooh, a fine-bladed katana. And as I've said before, I'm not really sure if the lockpick ability is 100% necessary. But I wanted to complete the side quests. And it is helpful in grinding money, because the best way is obviously to sell items. And the best way to collect items is to, you know, the lockpick ability. Oh no, here we go, I hate these enemies here, the archers. Honestly, between the samurai and the soldiers, the archers are the most annoying enemies. And the thing is, they're weak enemies too, they're just annoying, and they stop you attacking. You see, as I'm walking around, I'm just looking as to where Joseph is, and I'm making sure he does follow me properly. Because, as we've seen before in previous parts, your party can get separated by the AI. Your characters can get stuck on walls and stuff. Granted, it doesn't happen a lot, but it can happen. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but sometimes when you use the backstab you get a sound effect. Sometimes you don't. Seems a little inconsistent to me. But anyway, that's the Tower of Eleh. Now we have sweet, sweet freedom. Please join me again in the next part where we'll be finally sorting out Joseph's hand. Thanks for watching.